Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the At the Pylon podcast. Alongside Chandler Betts, my name is Nick Antonakis. Chandler, what's up with you this morning as we reflect on a lot of Patriots news on this episode, and we're going to rank the full 53-man roster for the Pats. What's up?
Nothing much. It's great. It's a good morning. It's finally March. That means we're getting into March Madness time. And I hate to break it to you, but you guys can be the first to hear it. I'm going to get a perfect bracket this year. So sorry to let you guys know that I'm going to be the first Warren Buffett and me like this. It's going to be a great month.
I haven't even thought about my bracket yet, honestly, but as March approaches and now is officially here, it's impossible to not think about March Madness coming up. A lot of fun sports things coming up in the month of March as we inch closer to playoff season in basketball and hockey. But for football purposes, we're getting close to free agency in the draft. So this will be kind of our last,
Combine right now.
I know we're getting there. So this will kind of be our last, I guess, weird off-season episode, as you would put
Sure.
it, reflecting more. Now, after this episode, we're going to start looking forward towards the draft, towards free agency. So you want to stay tuned here on the At the Pylon podcast. If you haven't already seen our Bill Belichick tier list episode, it came out last week. Go check it out. Great thing about that episode is you can literally watch it anytime. It's not going to
Yeah.
go bad. It's looking back at Bill Belichick's moments from his Patriots career, ranking those on a tier list. So if you haven't already seen it, make sure to go check that out. But Chandler, we have a lot to talk about this episode. We're not going to waste any time.
Oh,
We're going to
yeah.
start off rapid firing through some recent Patriots news before we get into our 53-man ranking.
hmm
The first and biggest piece of news that came out of last week, Patriots, three things surrounding the quarterback.
Yep.
First is that they're probably not bringing back Mac Jones. That was the recent report. They're probably going to draft a quarterback at number 3. And in addition, they're going to bring in a veteran quarterback to possibly have that rookie sit behind for the first year. Now, the options for that veteran quarterback right now, Joe Flacco has been one big name who's been new from previous times.
hmm
And another name, Baker Mayfield, who a lot of people in the organization quote have faith in. But I don't know if money would work out with that. What are your quick thoughts on it?
I think that I'm on record saying that Joe Flacco was going to be the answer before any of the rumors start. I believe I'm on record saying that. But I love it. I think that that absolutely should be the pick. And it makes sense that Baker and Joe Flacco are the two that have been talked about because those are the two that AVP, Alex Van Pelt, has been offensive coordinator for
Mhm.
when both were in Cleveland. I think that it would be a slam dunk to get Baker. I think that's very depending on the quarterback that you get at 3, though. And Flacco is probably the most likely, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'd be psyched to have Flacco in the
I would
house.
too.
So that would be great. Baker, obviously a better case scenario, but I don't think it's going to work out in terms of money. If it did, great. But right now he's
We
looking at
do
upwards.
officially have the most cap after a certain transaction that we made.
Yeah, we'll talk about that too. But my main thing is that I don't think it's worth it to bring him in for 25 million. I'd rather put our money
I
other
think great
places.
too, Nick. It's not going to be 25 million. It's going to be 38 at
Yeah,
least.
yeah, yeah. So that's my point. 25 would be the mark where I would be like, all right, that's the limit. We can bring him in for a
Mhm.
quarterback. Joe Flacco, I think will get less than 25 million. So in that case, it would work out for the Patriots on cap wise. But who knows what's going to happen? Both of those guys, great options. Regardless, if we brought either of them in, I would be happy, even if we ended up paying Baker a bag. If it was for a short period of time, it would work.
Sure.
Next piece of news, like you said, Chandler, JC Jackson was cut by the Patriots. This saves some $13 million in cap space. This makes them the number 1 team in the league in terms of cap space right now. And that was the move you were alluding to earlier to give the Patriots this boosted space in the cap room. What are your thoughts on this cut? I mean, it was expected for both of us.
Yeah, there's no reason for them to have not done this. This doesn't mean that he can't come back, and this also doesn't mean that I don't think he should come back. But it depends on what his market is. I assume it's not going to be a huge market, especially after we traded for him. We somehow beat anybody else to that, and then just immediately cut him. I think that there's a chance that he comes back next year, but we're number one now. I think it's 100.7 million or something like that.
Yep.
An absurd amount of cap, burn the cap. However, it's very possible that we don't because Gerard Mayo has walked back and quote that he said earlier when he said he's going to, I think it was literally just say spend the cap.
Yeah. He said before that he wanted to burn cash, and we'll get
Burn
into
some
that
cash,
next
yeah.
news piece.
Yes.
As you are setting me up perfectly for transitions here, Chandler.
Try
But
my best.
my main thing about the JC Jackson scenario is I'd be happy to bring him back on a cheap deal if he doesn't get that interest. But I will say that my ranking, my 53-man roster ranking, will reflect how much value I think he's worth. Hint, hint. So anyway, like you said, burning cash is a big thing that Jerron Mayo came right out of the gates with in his opening press conferences as head coach. He's since then, this past week, has kind of walked back on that claim, saying, quote, like, not the exact quote, but I don't know why I'm saying quote, but paraphrasing here, he basically said, like, you don't got to spend it all in 1 year. Uh, that was basically all he really said to it, but that alludes to the fact that, maybe we won't be as aggressive as we were referring to before. That, in addition to the fact that Elliot Wolf, who's currently serving as the general manager right now, interim general manager, isn't even locked in with the team after the draft. So there's a
Yeah,
lot
that's
of
crazy.
disarray from Pat's Nation in the fact that Robert Kraft has appointed a guy like Elliot Wolf to be in charge when he might not even be around after the draft. What do you think about this?
Um, I think he's going to be around after the draft. I would be
Yeah.
surprised if they didn't, especially after, building an entire team to just go. That would be really odd to me. But I guess there is something to consider in that. It seems as though that's not going to affect anything, though. If it is, we'll talk about it, and I'll have a lot of opinions if it is. But right now, I can't really form anything.
Yeah. Speaking of moves on the general manager front, Kyle Duggar is definitely a player the Patriots want to keep around this offseason. The
Initiative.
rumor is between him and Owenu in terms of who will get the franchise tag. But the main news coming out of this past week is that Kyle Duggar actually has an offer on the table from the Patriots. Both the Patriots and Duggar are interested in making something work. So that offer is currently on the table. That would be great for the Pats if they don't have
Yeah.
to tag him and maybe could save that for potentially needing to tag Owenu, who's going to get big interest from the market this year.
Yeah, I would love to keep both of them. Objectively, on when it was more important. Our safety
Yeah,
depth is better. This is a better safety group right here. The 49ers are just hiring Brandon Staley as their defensive coordinator. That's a
that's
big
the
deal.
last coordinator position off the market.
Here we go. Yep.
Breaking
Uh,
news on At the Pylon.
oh yeah. There's a funny story actually that I saw that John Harbaugh, no, Jim Harbaugh, the one who just got the Chargers job, his first ever win as a college football head coach was against Dayton, I think it was, or wherever Brandon Staley was the quarterback, uh,
Oh,
and he just took his job.
look
So
at that.
goodbye. But hey, Brandon Staley now has probably the best defense in football. Hooray for him! But back to the Patriots. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's really all to discuss about Duggar. Hopefully he gets signed, and it would
Yeah.
be even better for the case if they don't have to use the franchise tag on him. But
Mhm.
our last piece of news, Chandler, well, actually two more. This one a smaller piece. Devontae Parker is supposedly up for a trade. The organization is interested in moving him, even if it's for a late round pick. Uh, I was on this boat since the season, so good, get him out of here. And when
Good
we get
luck.
to our depth charts later in the year, in a couple weeks, a lot of things center around like we have a lot of wide receivers,
Yeah,
and a good amount
so
of those wide receivers have a big cap hit like Devontae Parker. So
yeah.
in that case, we were discussing earlier in the offseason, we were like, why don't we just keep these guys? Like, it's not worth cutting Parker. So
True.
to get him out with no cap space on our hands would be great, even for a late round pick. I'd do that in a heartbeat.
Mhm.
Finally, Patriots grades on the report card came out in terms of from the NFLPA. They were bad. The one that stood out the most to me was treatment of families was an F minus.
Yeah, that's
Like
crazy.
that's crazy. But regardless, Patriots were in like the bottom of the barrel of the league in terms of personnel grades.
Even head coaching.
Even head coaching. Well, head coach was a B minus, but I mean
Yeah,
still it
but
was towards the bottom
but
half.
it was 27 out of 32. The B minus was 27th out of 32. The only people
Yeah, true.
tied were Kevin Stefanski, Dennis Allen, and Todd Bowles, and below him were Arthur Smith, Ron Rivera, and Josh McDaniels. That's it.
Wow. Dark times with the Patriots. Obviously, that had a big flack on the ownership team, who has
For
been
sure.
receiving a bunch of hate recently.
Yeah,
So definitely something that
those
the
are the
Pats
kinds of
want to turn
voices.
around.
I don't always place a whole lot of weight into those kinds of lists because all of that is solved when you win. You see the teams at the top are generally teams that win.
Yeah, except the Chiefs. They were near the bottom
Sure.
for the treatment of families and
Yeah,
owner.
they also had the like a ownership lied to them or something. They
Yeah,
said
something like
like
that.
a new locker room, and then they just didn't and said, "Oh, you guys went too far in the playoffs for us to build it." And I was like, "That's crazy." Imagine being like, "Yeah,
What's
sorry that we can't make your lives better because you guys were too good."
Yeah, maybe be worse next year, and then we'll build you a new
Yeah,
locker room.
maybe Patrick, maybe lose to Josh once, and then you can get a new locker room.
Patriots, on the other hand, had plenty of time to build new facilities that
Yep, I'm sure
apparently
they
a
did.
lot of pros were complaining about the weight room.
Yep.
Uh, but nope, nothing rebuilt. Regardless, that's our wrap up on Patriots news. Now is the moment everybody has been waiting for, Chandler. We're going to move into our 53-man roster ranking. I'm thinking how we do this is we kind of go back and forth in terms of like, I'll do 53 through 40 to start, and then you can react, and then you'll do 53 through 40, and I'll react. And then we'll go
Okay.
back and forth 40 through 30, 30 through 20, etc.
Sure.
Um, so Okay, let's start out here. My 53 through 40 ranking for the Patriots roster for you, Chandler. My bottom
Sure.
spot, which I'm excited to hear yours because you've been alluding to it for the past couple weeks that it's big. My bottom spot goes to Riley Reef, offensive lineman. He sucked. He barely played. He got a big contract. I think it was 43 snaps on the year.
Yeah.
Thinking about it, he shouldn't have even been on my list. Like a
Didn't
guy
make
like
mine either.
Like Amir Speed should have been above him. But I just wanted to like put him in that spot to spite him because I don't. I
Sure.
was mad about that. Anyway, moving on. Tyquan Thornton at 52. He did practically nothing this year. Almost knock on wood, guaranteed a bust. 51 is Kayshawn Booty. He had potential. Then he didn't play. Then he got arrested. So, not a great season from Booty. 50, I have Vidarian Lowe. Besides that fumble recovery in the last game against the Jets, he was a negative for this team. He basically had a saving grace there for his career on that last sequence of the season against the Jets. Trent Brown at 49, despite
Oh,
yeah, he was bad. I am not a Trent Brown fan. Uh
okay.
yeah, so I was hard on Trent Brown, putting him down at 49. Obviously, a lot of personnel issues with him this year with the whole
Sure.
I need more money, blah, blah, blah. Definitely did not play up to that raise that he got from Bill Belichick. So I put him at 49. And then this is kind of funny who follows him. Ty Montgomery at 48. I mean, damn, like Ty Montgomery above Trent Brown. Looking back,
That's
all right,
crazy.
Nick. But I mean, Ty Montgomery, he didn't make any pivotal, I guess, mistakes for the role that he was in. I would say
Yeah.
comparative to the role that he was in, he did better than Trent Brown.
Sure.
Um, Pushing on here, 47, I have the one and only JC Jackson that we were talking about before.
Ooh, okay.
He basically fell apart within like the first 3 weeks that he joined the team.
Sure.
Um, Performance wise, when he was in, he was not that good. Um, that game against the Colts, he was getting burnt pretty bad
Hmm.
before that too. So that's why he slots in at 47.
Sure.
Juju Smith Schuster at 46. Chad Ryland at 45. Um, Not much to say about Ryland besides the fact that he missed plenty of kicks.
Yeah.
Then we have our superstar Mac Jones at 44.
Mhm.
This one is not as surprising considering how bad of a season Jones had, but I gave him some saving grace for his first couple weeks in that game against the Bills.
Right.
Um, so he's not bottom of the barrel, but still bottom significantly.
Sure.
Marcus Jones at 43, he barely played, but that just goes to show you how bad these guys below him were that I
Yeah.
had enough gas in the tank to put Marcus Jones at 43. Then I have Kevin Harris at 42, Mike Gesicki at 41, and then Devontae Parker at 40. So a little bit of a wild bottom 13 there from me, but I'm excited to hear yours after you react to mine, Chandler.
Sure. So I didn't even put Marcus Jones in my list
Yeah, I
because
would.
he didn't play a combined more than 5% of the snaps in the season, so I didn't even consider him. Trent Brown is interesting there. I mean, jeepers. It's interesting. had the highest PFF grade out of any offensive lineman on our team.
I don't know
Now,
how that's possible.
I agree, it's silly, but he is still a competent enough starting left tackle in the league that's going to get a decent contract this offseason. I really hope we don't get tricked into having it be us. I really don't think that's going to happen because I don't think he's very good. But I'm telling you, at this point next year, we're going to be like, whoever insert guy we get, unless it's a really good rookie, kind of sucks because this is a very bad left tackle class.
I don't
So
I thought our line played better when Brown was out and Mafi or City Sal was in.
sure,
So
I agree, and my list will pretty much reflect that. Uh,
let's hear it.
well, I'll get into it right here. 53, throwing the grenade, Mac Jones, number 53 on my list. It
Great.
had to be. I weighed this part a little bit in the same way that you had for Trent Brown, I guess. A bombshell of a season, and not the good way. Really, really bad. I weighed a little bit of performance expectation with this as well. Starting quarterback in the league, getting benched, could not have had a worse season. First weeks were okay, I guess, but he also went on what a 78-0 or 0-78 point spread for two across 2 games. Had Belichick's first and second worst losses in his career. He
Yeah,
was starting quarterback for that. Completely incompetent. 53 on my list.
that's valid.
52, Kayshawn Mooney. 51, Tyquan Thornton. We just flipped those. 50, Christian Ellis, teamer. 49, Vidarian Lowe. Probably would have put him at 53 out of spite, but he had that nice fumble recovery in the last game. Really put his body line for the team. I appreciated that. 48, Bailey Zappi. Quarterback room very low for me. I think that we've discussed that enough so that I
Yeah.
don't have
We've
to.
discussed the quarterback flack a lot,
Yeah,
but
there's a reason that I'm very low on both of them.
surprised I have Zappy higher than you for all the hate I gave Zappy. Oh my
I
God.
am a little surprised, yeah. I gave it on that just basically a snap count aspect. Had to focus on that a little bit for me. 47, Chad Ryland. 46, Jalen Rager. Uh, was kind of surprised. Where did you have him?
I haven't gone to him yet.
I didn't think so. I was kind of surprised I didn't hear it, just based on the amount of impact he had and the amount of games that he played. But whatever. 45, Juju Smith-Schuster. 44, Joe Cardona. 43, Alex Austin. 42, Ty Montgomery. 41, Connor McDermott. And 40, Adrian Phillips. I was going to say, may he rest in peace. He's not dead.
Damn. Yeah, I mean, that's good. I think that comparative how I'm thinking ahead is that I'm leading a lot more heavily on the defense being good in my
Yeah,
rankings, which we'll show later. But regardless, Zappy ranking lower on your list than mine is kind of crazy
that is
considering
pretty crazy.
the talks that we've had. But it won't take me long to get to Zappy on here.
Oh, yeah.
Um, with that, I think we'll just truck forward. We'll do
Right into
39
it.
through 30 now. 39 is the one and only Bailey Zappi.
Ooh,
38, Joe Cardona. 37, Adrian Phillips. 36, Marte Mapu. 35, Alex Austin. 34, Sean Wade. 33, Jack Jones. 32, Jalen Mills. 31, Keon White. And 30, City Sal. So I guess my main focal points from this as we move towards the top of it are the fact that Sal, I think, like I said before, when he was in place of Brown or anyone else, I thought the line performed better. He proved himself to be a potential starter for next year, so that's something to consider. Definitely like a sixth man or seventh man
sure.
on our offensive line depths next year. So I was happy with him considering the expectations and the mess that he walked into. He played well. Jack Jones, a player who was playing well, but was shipped off pretty quickly and had a lot of personnel issues. That's why he kind of ranked lower on my list. Um, Sean Wade and Alex Austin back to back at 35 and 34. Two corners that really were off the face of the earth at the start of the season. Especially a guy like Sean Wade, who's been in the system for so long. He bounced back, having to fill that role in the void that our cornerback room was, thanks to all the injuries. So I gave him some props. didn't have an outstanding season or anything, but still good enough to place him at 34. But other than that, I think it's just routine stuff. You're muted.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, now you're good.
Yeah, I didn't even consider Jack Jones in my top 53, so that's another one that we have a little bit different. But I'm gonna just hop into my, what are we doing? 39 to what?
39 to 30.
Love it. 39, Chris Board. 38, Marte Mapu. 37, Cody Davis. 36, Sean Wade. 35, JC Jackson. 34, this one kind of hurt, Pharaoh Brown. 33, Lawrence Guy, another may he rest in peace, not actually dead. 32, Mike Gesicki. 31, Devontae Parker. And 30, Antonio Mafi. I'm a little surprised that you had Mafi and Sal. I think flipped. You haven't done Mafi yet, have you?
No.
Interesting. Yeah, basically, again, I focused a lot on the snap counts for this. City Sal played 73.45% of offensive snaps, while Mafi only played 43.67.
Mm.
So that weighed a lot on my conscience, especially with, I agree with you, City Sal having reserved a consistent roster spot, be that in the starting position or not, for this upcoming season. But yeah, what do
Pharaoh
you think?
Brown, though, low.
Yeah, I mean, statistically, he just didn't do much. Like, he was very good. I think that he was huge for the team. He did only play 38% of offensive snaps, though,
That's
and
true.
less than 50% of, excuse me, of teamer stats also. Good season, really good vibes for the program. But he also only had 280 yards receiving and one
Mm.
touchdown. I think that that's very bang average, especially with some players that I think have solidified spots as important value players in this team coming a little bit above them.
Yeah, I think a lot of our rankings are going to be yours are very focused on snap counts, while mine are
Yes.
focused on more like
Uh,
I play, like how I see.
yes.
But regardless, both valid ways of judging it. It's
Mhm.
just a matter of how you do so. But to move on here, 29 through 20. At 29, I have Antonio Mafi. So I had those guys right back to back. In thinking about it, I probably should have moved City Sao above him, but regardless, it is what it is. 28, I have Josh Uche. 27, I have Jalen Rager.
Mhm.
26, David
Yeah.
Andrews. 25, Cody Davis. 24, Christian Gonzalez. Uh, again, just goes to show you how weak our team was this year. Number
Yeah.
23, Matthew Judon. Again, goes to show you how weak our team was. Number 22, Lawrence Guy. Number 21, Cole Strange. And number 20, Mac Wilson.
Mhm. I think that somehow you may have thought that our offensive line did even worse than I did. Because I had we'll get to it.
Oh,
Get
well,
to
yeah,
it.
Anders was the surprising one for you.
Yeah, he was the only person to play every single offensive snap. He played
No,
100%
I
of.
saw, I know.
Yeah, that deserves a lot for me, especially being the leader of a team when he was just
That's
thrown at the
true.
wolves in the podium every day.
Maybe, all right, rethinking it, I might move him from 26 to 22.
Cool. Love.
Put him above Gonzalez, Cody Davis, Lawrence Guy, and Matthew Judon.
Good.
So I'll do that.
Okay. We'll get to
That
mine.
makes more sense. But I mean, still, I have him lower than you, of course.
Sure. All right. Hopping from my 29 to 20 right here. 29, I really didn't know where to put him because he did a lot for the team, but he wasn't the most impact. Excuse me.
Don't die on
Impactful
us.
in this position. Jesus, I know. 20,
R.I.P. to Chandler,
yeah, not
not Adrian Phillips.
mm-mm, Nor Lawrence guy. 29, Matthew Slater. 28, Matthew Judon. 27, Keon White. 26, Jalen Mills. 25, Kendrick Bourne. 24, Trent Brown. I was very surprised that you had him that low because he was a consistent starter for the season and wasn't horrible. Bad for the vibes, bad for the locker room, but as a player, he was still a serviceable left tackle for most of the games that he was in. 24. 23, Devon Godchuk. 22, Brendan Schooler. 21, Josh Uche. And 20, City Sal.
Interesting. City Sow, higher. I think it's deserving.
Yeah.
Um, but I mean, Matthew Slater a little bit low.
Yeah, I didn't quite know where to put him. I wouldn't be mad if you had him all the way up to like, I don't know, 13. I wouldn't be mad if you put him that high. But he was the second most important teamer on a teamer unit that was good, not great.
That's fair. All right, so now 20 through 10. I have Brennan Schooler at 20, Devon Godchuk at 19, Pharaoh Brown at 18,
Yeah.
Jonathan Jones at 17, Miles Bryant at 16, Hunter Henry at 15, Matthew Slater at 14, Kendrick Bourne at 13, Anthony Jennings at 12, Jawan Bentley at 11, and I guess we'll stop there. We'll save the top 10 for the last.
Okay. Interesting. I'm just gonna hop into mine and see what you think. I think we might
Okay.
have a rather different list here. 19, Christian Gonzalez. 18, Mac Wilson. 17, Ramondre Stevenson. 16, Ezekiel Elliott. 15, Jabril Peppers. 14, Pop Douglas. 13, Bryce Behringer. 12, Hunter Henry. 11, Cole Strange.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I thought you would have put Behringer way higher.
Uh,
Way higher.
Yeah, I thought about it, but there were 12 people that I could say, like when I set this up, I was thinking there are 13 to 14 people that I can
And
say.
have you said Jennings yet?
I have not said Anthony Jennings yet.
Okay, all right, all right, all right.
I would say that there were, I'll say 15. 15 people that legitimately had good seasons. And I didn't want to put, in terms of impact for the team, Behringer above most of them. The only two were Peppers and Pop Douglas that I put him above.
That's fair. It's going to be an interesting top 10 here. I'm excited for it.
I think so, yeah.
I don't think we should waste any more time and then we'll kind of
Yeah.
reflect on the end. My top 10, here we go. Number
Okay.
10, I have Dietrich Wise Jr., 9, Ezekiel Elliott, 8, Kyle Duggar, 7, Ramondre Stevenson, 6, Demario Douglas, 5, Bryce Behringer,
Hold it here. Hold it here. Hold it here. We'll save the top four. Save the top three, actually. Who was your fourth?
4, I have Jelani Tavai. We'll do top 3 at the end.
Okay. 10, Anthony Jennings. 9, Miles Bryant. 8, David Andrews. 7,
Oh,
Dietrich Wise. 6, Mike Onwenu. 5, Jonathan Jones. 4, Jawan Bentley.
why Jonathan Jones so high?
Jonathan Jones was the best cornerback throughout the course of the season for a unit that was very good. Think about all the times that we were like, oh my gosh, the
But he was
corners are
hurt
so
a good
good.
amount of the time.
What?
He was hurt a good amount of the time.
How many of the snaps did he play? Where is he? Jonathan Jones. He played 65% of the snaps. He was the consistent starter when everyone else was injured. Like when Marcus Jones goes down, when Gonzo goes down. He was expected to be the second or third corner, and he was playing solid, very good number one corner stats against Garrett Wilson, against Stephon Diggs, against a really, really tough wide receiver group this year. So I give him a ton of credit for not only being the best corner on the team, but the best leader of a unit probably in that locker room.
He was really impactful when he was in. I just took the injury into account.
Sure.
Um Looking back on mine, I think I did put Demario Douglas a little bit high. I just think from an offensive impact, how stagnant our offense was this year, he was really
Sure.
one of the only bright spots of it.
He
That's why I
led
put
the
him where I
team
did.
in receiving yards, but
Yeah,
that
he
was
did.
with 561, and he also had no touchdowns.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's how abysmal our offense was this
I
year.
know.
Damn.
Yep.
Um, but why don't we go back and forth? We'll go 3-3-2-2-1-1 to finish off.
Okay.
My number 3 is Micah Wenu. Who do you have?
Jelani Tavai.
Okay. So I
Lovely.
one spot off from me. Where'd you have a Wenu on yours?
I went it was 6 on mine.
Okay. All right. So a couple spots off. That's fine.
Yeah.
Number 2, I have Jabril Peppers.
Oof, okay. I have Kyle Duggar.
Okay. All right. So I guess we're just flipping those two
Yeah.
importance. I went for superstar play and you went for snaps because Duggar, I think, played over 1,000 snaps this year, right?
Yeah, he was huge. Duggar, I believe, played the most defensive snaps. Let me check that. Yes, he played 97.98 versus Peppers only playing 83.92.
Okay.
And he
So
also
yeah,
played a lot more of the teamer snaps.
I guess it's summing up like our thoughts behind the list, but I think I
Ability is
think
availability, Nick.
what I'm thinking, I think our number one is the same. I can't remember
Yes.
for sure, but I think it's the same. Number one, I have
Yes.
Christian Barmore.
Yep. Number one. By far the best player on the team this past year. Give him whatever you want. I remember back when he got drafted. It was what, the same
Second
year as
round, 2021.
Cole Strange year?
No,
No,
Mac Jones year.
Mac Jones year. Because I was
Back to
thinking,
back Alabama guys.
yes, because I was thinking that he was absolutely a first round player. And I'd actually, if you go back, I think, curious, one of the off seasons I did like an online mock draft with like the Reddit community or something, and I was the representative for the Patriots, and I had Barmore. I think I traded back and picked Barmore at like 24 or something.
Damn.
And then when we got him in the second round, I was pumped.
Did we trade up to get him?
I believe so, yeah.
Okay. That makes
Um,
sense. But he has been outstanding.
Outstanding. Led the team in sacks. As a like not a nose tackle, but a traditionally more interior pass rusher. Very impressive season. I mean, what did he get exactly? 8.5, and the next closest were 4.5.
Yeah,
Uh, awesome season. Anchor of a defense. Very excited to see him next year. Number one. We still stunk though.
we did.
In a better Patriots season, he would probably come in like ninth.
Yeah, that's fair. Well,
Number one.
why don't we just read down our lists one more time just to
Sure.
recap? Um,
I'm gonna go like this.
you
And
want to go
I'll
first and read yours?
53. I'm not gonna say the numbers every time. Just
Yeah.
gonna go from worst to best. Mac Jones, Kayshawn Booty, Tyquan Thornton, Christian Ellis, Vidarian Lowe, Bailey Zappi, Chad Ryland, Jalen Rager, Juju, Joe Cardona, Alex Austin, Ty Montgomery, Connor McDermott, Adrian Phillips, Chris Board, Marte Mapu, Cody Davis, Sean Wade, JC Jackson, Pharaoh Brown, Lawrence Guy, Mike Gesicki, Devontae Parker, Antonio Mafi, Matthew Slater, Matthew Judon, Keon White, Jalen Mills, Kendrick Bourne, Trent Brown, Devon Godchuk, Brendan Schooler, Josh Uche, City Sow, Christian Gonzalez, Mac Wilson, Ramondre Stevenson, Ezekiel Elliott, Jabril Peppers, Demario Douglas, Bryce Behringer, Hunter Henry, Cole Strange, Anthony Jennings, Miles Bryant, David Andrews, Dietrich Wise, Mike Onwenu, Jonathan Jones, Jawan Bentley, Jelani Tavai, Kyle Duggar, Christian Barmore.
Valid. When we look back, our lists aren't that different. Like they just like
No, we just
I
placed
feel like we have
different
the
ones
same
first.
chunks of players together in different spots,
Sure.
which
Yeah.
is interesting. But
Shocker, shock with the football nerd picked snap count as the most important thing.
uh,
Crazy. Yeah. Who would have thunk it? Let's run through yours.
yeah, I got Riley Reef, Tyquan Thornton, Kayshawn Booty, Vidarian Lowe, Trent Brown, Ty Montgomery, J.C. Jackson, Juju Smith-Schuster, Chad Rylands, Mac Jones, Marcus Jones, Mike Gesicki, Devontae Parker, Bailey Zappi, Joe Cardona, Adrian Phillips, Marte Mapu, Alex Austin, Sean Wade, Jack Jones, Jalen Mills, Keon White, City Sow, Antonio Mafi, Josh Uche, Jalen Rager, Cody Davis, Christian Gonzalez, Matthew Judon, Lawrence Guy, David Andrews, Cole Strange, Mac Wilson, Brendan Schooler, Devon Godchuk, Pharaoh Brown, Jonathan Jones, Miles Bryant, Hunter Henry, Matthew Slater, Kendrick Bourne, Anthony Jennings, Jawan Bentley, Dietrich Wise Jr., Ezekiel Elliott, Kyle Duggar, Ramondre Stevenson, Demario Douglas, Bryce Behringer, Jelani Tavai, Mike Uwenu, Jabril Peppers, and Christian Barmore. So, wow. And we did all that in less than 40 minutes.
Oh yeah.
Look at that.
Efficient.
Um, that wraps up our episode today and our previous, I guess, kind of reflection episodes in this off-season period. From this moment forward, we're going to be focusing on the future. Obviously, free agency's coming up. We have the draft after that.
Oh
Uh,
yeah.
Off-season episodes, off-season predictions, offseason news is all coming at you here on the At the Pylon podcast. So make sure to stay tuned. If you haven't already, make sure to drop a follow on Instagram at.the.pylon. Make sure to check us out there. We post a lot of content, reels, stuff like that.
Mhm.
Um, Hopefully, if I'm not lazy, you'll get updates on there of when episodes go live. I
Mhm.
did not do that for the Belichick one. That's why I had to shout it out at the start of the episode.
Hey,
But regardless,
what are we expecting for next week? What's that?
I was trying to rake that through my brain, but why don't I just go on while you give your final thoughts about the list?
I think that our lists collectively showed how bad this Patriots team was this year. Considering that me, who focused on snap counts, still put Judon as a top 30 player. I put Christian Gonzalez as a top 20 player. They didn't play more than 5 games. I don't have the exact games off the top of my head. Um, this team was so bad. I'm just stalling for time whenever you have it up, but I could keep talking forever.
Keep talking.
I thought it was very interesting that David Andrews, only person to play 100% of the snaps on either side of the ball, ranked a little bit lowly on Nick's list, especially how we talked about the focus on just getting sent out to the wolves to essentially bear the full cross of everything bad in the organization for about 11 weeks. And I
But yeah,
reflected my list.
yeah, I agree. Basically for next week, we have our first mock drafts.
Oh, yeah, I thought so. Come on.
Just round one. Then after that, we're gonna have our dream offseason episode before free agency breaks, and then we're gonna have our free agency reaction after that. We're probably gonna have an instant free agency reaction episode.
All-time heater run coming up here.
Yeah, we got a big banger 3 in a row. So stay tuned next week. We got our first mock drafts, then our dream offseason episode after that, and then the free agency reaction. News is piling up soon, guys. It's coming at you fast. So stay tuned here on the At the Pylon podcast. I got to get to work on my mock drafts. But in the
Oh, yeah.
meantime, hopefully everybody enjoyed this episode. And stay tuned here for Patriots news throughout the offseason.
Oh, yeah, watch the combine.
Watch the combine. Alongside Chandler Betts, my name is Nick Antonakis. We'll see you back here next week for a first round mock draft.